My goal was to showcase breaking to the world. I wanted people to fall in love with it the way that I did when I grew up.
Paris Tonight is brought to you by Smartwater.
It is an absolute gorgeous day here in Paris. The final day of these Olympic Games. The closing ceremony is coming up in just a couple of hours, and what a difference in terms of the weather compared to how it looked like outside during the opening ceremony, and that feels fitting. These games, these last 2 weeks have brought nothing but joy and wonder to us all. A reminder of how beautiful the Olympics can be, and a reminder of how unbelievable the human spirit continues to be. Throughout this final episode of Paris Tonight, we are going to celebrate just that. We're going to look back on the last 2 weeks, a very unique time in our lives, a very special time in our lives, a time that we will never forget. We're going to celebrate the highs and lows. We're going to celebrate it all. We're also going to be talking to a couple of very special people as well. Later on in the program, we'll talk to a man who adores the Olympics, who at the end of today will be signing off from covering his 17th Olympic Games for CBC. Our host, the face of these games for CBC, the great Scott Russell, will catch up with him and reminisce about his unbelievable career. We'll also talk to the man who won the first ever men's breaking gold medal, and perhaps the last as well, Phil Wizard, AKA Phil Kim. What an unbelievable soul he is as well. But first, you know what? Let's go catch up with Devin Heroux. You know Devin by now. Everyone loves Devin. Perhaps no one loves the Olympics more than Devin. He has been telling the stories of our great athletes for the last 2+ weeks better than anyone. And I feel like it's fitting to wrap up the Olympic Games with the great Devin Heroux. Let's go catch up with him. Well, when they said that we needed to recap these games, there was only one person that came to mind. It had to be Devin Heroux here. He has been the star, in my opinion, for CBC when it comes to all things 2024 games. He was at the swimming, he was at athletics. It seemed like every time there was a big moment here in Paris, he was there, getting the interviews, getting the sound bites, letting us know back home what was transpiring. So happy that he's here with us one final time. Devin, it's great to see you in person before you head off to the closing ceremony. And so here we are reveling. Look at this backdrop. We're reminiscing, we're a little nostalgic. When I say 2024 Paris, what comes to mind?
Oh, it's emotional, right? You plan for this for years, then 17 days of incredible action happens, and then you wake up on the morning of the closing ceremony and you can't believe it's coming to an end. Here's an enduring thing that I've been ruminating on as I prepared for today and for the closing ceremony. One of my favorite poems is Rudyard Kipling's If. In it, he writes, if you can meet triumph and disaster and treat them just the same, you'll be a hero. And throughout these games, we saw triumph and disaster for the Canadian athletes, and yet they treated them just the same when they came and spoke to me. They showed us humanity, authenticity, rawness, and I think they really showed the best of Canada. We saw that with Marco Heroux, who is the best of Canada, whose family fled civil war in Sudan for a better life in Canada. His parents then sitting in Stade de France, watching him run the race of his life. His smile so genuine, so real. Damian Warner in a shocking, heartbreaking end, yet graceful enough to meet the press and share his sorrow with all of us. That's what will stick with me. I think there was a turning point, Ariel, in Tokyo when Simone Biles spoke about mental health and the athlete voice suddenly became prominent. And in these games, they really leaned into it. They drew us in with their humanity. That's what I'm going to take away.
This may sound like a stupid question, but I'm just curious, why do you love this so much? Why do you devote your life to this? It's easy to devote your life to the NHL or the NBA. Your passion is not fake. It is as authentic as it gets. Why do you love this so much?
To me, it's the collective. The power of the collective and experiencing something together. We're never going to know what it's like to swim like Summer and run like Andre. But we know loss and we know victory. And that is a thread that ties us all together, the humanity that exists within that. And when we see our athletes be vulnerable enough to put themselves in the field of battle for their country, for all of us, that makes me emotional. I had so many out-of-body experiences during these games. And then to see Canadians stop what they're doing for those moments and just be together in all of that, that's powerful. That's what drives me. I have the best job in the world.
I understand it might be like, asking who's your favorite child or something like that, but do you have a favorite moment, a favorite interaction, a favorite interview, something like that?
I'm so proud of Summer. I mean, which sounds weird to say, but at 17 years old, heavy as a head that wears a crown, and yet she wore the crown with such ease, didn't she? She was touted by many to win as many medals as she did, and she did it in such beautiful fashion. I was so impressed by her. I'll never forget the way my body felt when Andre came charging to the line. And Ariel, what was beautiful about that race is the build, the trust, and all the years of experience between four men who had battled for so long. There's such poetic beauty in it where they pass the baton, my experience to yours to Andre, to bring it home. The way I felt, I don't know if I've ever been more proud to be Canadian.
Wow.
In that moment. 28 years after Donovan and that quartet did it. So those will be enduring memories for me.
Summer expected, Andre somewhat expected. Was there a pleasant surprise that you did not see coming that really kind of burst on the scene in a moment, or just a showing that you'll never forget?
I don't know if it was a singular performance, but I think what it was is the way the Canadian handled themselves in defeat. I mean, quite honestly, I don't enjoy those interviews.
Right.
I don't think anybody enjoys them. And as they're walking to you, you're reading them and you're going, I wonder what this exchange is going to be like. Lucia Stafford, the great middle distance runner, she comes over after her 1500 meter and she's in tears. And yet in that moment, she says, I'm sad, but I'm proud. I wanted this so bad, but I'm so sad and I'm so proud. And to me, I was just shocked at the Canadians' ability in moments that you and I could never imagine to just hold themselves together and let us lean in a little bit closer. So that, to me, despite all the crowning moments, will stand with me forever.
I don't know if you share this sentiment, but for me, I'm not a regular on this beat like you are. For the most part, it just felt like celebration after celebration, good sportsmanship, the spirit of humanity shining a light on us all. Like, it just felt refreshing and rewarding. Do you share that?
100%. And we talked about these games being a French Renaissance for the Olympics, and they were all of that, games wide open. I mean, on the final night of competition, you had tens of thousands of people lining the streets of Paris cheering on 25,000 people, everyday people who got to run the marathon course. And I saw those scenes.
Yeah.
And the games have finally gotten a little bit back to its roots, which are for the people. And Paris understood the assignment. And also Team Canada understood the assignment. The slogan for the team, brave is unbeatable. I don't know if there could have been a more fitting slogan for all of this. And I think Celine Dion set the tone on top of the Eiffel Tower. And then everybody just fell in line after that. It was unity, it was boldness, it was bravery, courage, all of those things. And I think Canadians are coming out of these games feeling a little more proud about the athletes who represent them and just who we are as a people. So I absolutely agree with you.
Do you have a theory as to why we have come so far as a Summer Olympic nation? Not that long ago, golds weren't really the thing for Canada in the Summer Olympics, and now we've made history as far as golds are concerned and total medals. Of course, non-boycotted games. Do you have a theory as to why we've come so far?
I think we're leaning into the diversity of the country, the diverse demographics of the country. We are stronger because of everybody who has chose Canada to be their home, because a lot of the summer sports are globally recognized sports. We are that. We are a global country. And so now you have Canadians on the biggest stages. Seb Coe, the president of World Athletics, said 105 nations, Ariel, have won medals in athletics at the Olympics. And I just thought these are truly global sports and global moments, and Canada is standing at the top of them. And so it is a diversity that is leading to these outstanding performances.
Final thing.
Yeah.
I know you have to go off and do the closing ceremony, and you're probably cooking out here. We're going home. You're sticking around. You got the Paralympic Games coming up, and correct me if I'm wrong, you share the same enthusiasm for those games as you do these games. Why should viewers stick around and watch those? incredible athletes in a couple of weeks.
Sure. I mean, the athletic performances you're going to see starting August 28th when we kick off the Paralympics here on the Place de la Concorde, the first time an opening ceremony for the Paralympics have ever been held outside of a stadium. Can't wait to see that scene. Our Paralympians parallel. They run in line with the Olympics. And we as a country have to embrace the Paralympians. We know for the first time ever a gold medal at the Olympics financially is going to equal the same financial award for Canadian Paralympians. It's about time.
Amazing.
But we need to bring the same energy, because I think we're at a tipping point, Ariel, in our country where we're deciding what sport means to every one of us in our country. And if it means what we think it's meant through the Olympics, then we're going to rally around our athletes the same way we did during the Paralympics.
I love it. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
With that assignment, good luck at the closing ceremony, and what a privilege it has been
appreciate
calling you a colleague for the last 2+ weeks. Hopefully we could do it again.
Let's do it again.
Sometime down the line.
LA,
for now,
baby.
yes, I will see you there. Perhaps even Milan. Who knows?
Right.
Of course, that's coming
that
up.
one, that
yes,
one.
Yes. Well, one of those great performances, has to be Phil Kim, Phil Wizard. He made history last night, becoming perhaps the first and last ever man to win a gold medal in breaking. An hour after he made that history, he visited with us at a very quiet Canada Olympic House. Here's that conversation.
Outshine Gold, presented by Lululemon.
We've had a lot of cool experiences here in Paris, but we've definitely not talked to anyone cooler than this man. Phil Wizard, aka Phil Kim, who just made history. He became the first ever male breaker to win Olympic gold, and he might be the last. We'll talk about that in a moment. My man, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I'm in awe of you, of what you did. I don't know exactly how you did it in the sense of, the scoring criteria and whatnot, but here's what I know. That was not even close. That was not even close. How does this all feel? And again, you just won like literally an hour ago. When we're talking to you right now, it's very late. It's around midnight local time. Has this sunk in that you're an Olympic gold medalist?
I don't think it sinks in right away. I think it'll take me a while for it to like fully sink in. I still feel like I'm dreaming a little bit. You get rushed around right after, and there's a lot going on. So no, it has not fully sunken in yet.
Did you say after you won? Did you say in an interview that like you were super nervous?
Yes,
you were doubting yourself?
Yeah, I actually cried yesterday.
You don't come across that way, by the way. I just want to let you know.
I'm glad. You fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. Yesterday I did an interview with just a few buddies of mine, and I broke down because I was like so scared to compete today. It's been a lot of pressure and I think a lot of expectation, and I just wanted to make people proud and deliver, and I'm glad I was able to deliver. But in the moment, I truly was just enjoying it. Like I especially after the round robin when I got into the top 8. You're amongst the best in the world, and I was just having a blast up there, and the energy was fantastic, and so I kind of let go of expectations and the idea of a medal and just kind of enjoyed it and came out on top luckily today.
Do you usually feel those nerves, or was this specific to the Olympics?
No, I usually do. I've dealt with self-doubt and insecurity for my whole life, and that's something that always kind of comes back and forth. Sometimes I can feel supremely confident, and sometimes I don't, and I haven't competed at a stage like this before, and it was a whirlwind of emotions, being in the Olympic Village, understanding that for us, as of now, this is our one and only shot, and there's been a lot of pressure, people expecting me to bring home gold, but when you're competing at the highest level like this, you really don't know. With breaking especially, sometimes it's just whose day it is, who has their moment, and who's shining, and I think I just got lucky that it was me today.
And is it true today was the first time your parents watched you compete in person?
Yeah, my mom has seen me once before, but my dad, it was his first time, and my brothers as well.
What a time to pick, right?
Yeah.
Did that add to the nerves?
Not necessarily. I wasn't nervous about like friends and families watching me. I know they would support me no matter what, but it was a lot of external pressure for sure.
And so much was said about breaking in the Olympics and whatnot. Did you feel any extra pressure to say like, no, we belong here. Look at us. Look how athletic we are. Look how real this is.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you were putting that on your shoulders as well?
I think all of us competing today and yesterday, both the B-girls and the B-boys, I think we have a job as breaking ambassadors. This is the first time that we are on a platform as big as this, and I really, like, first and foremost, my goal was to showcase breaking to the world. I wanted people to fall in love with it the way that I did when I grew up, and I think we accomplished it. I mean, just from the energy in the building or at La Concorde, it was incredible, and I think as of now, I'm getting a lot of messages being like, I haven't seen breaking before, but this is so sick, like, so I think we did a really good job.
What happened on Friday with the Australian B-girl, is that good or bad for you guys?
I mean,
that went viral, and that was kind of people's first introduction. They're
Yeah,
like, wait,
you know
is this
what?
Olympic breaking?
I think people are mean, and I feel bad for Raygun. I don't think anyone deserves that kind of hate. But at the same time, I think maybe it made people tune in. Like, they saw it yesterday, and they're like, okay, let's see what this is about, and hopefully people enjoyed the show.
Okay, I think if there were any doubts, you washed that away. I
Hopefully.
mean, even how you walked out prior to the gold medal, what would you say, match?
Yeah.
Man, you were. I noted, and I'm a 42-year-old man. I noted that you had plus 10,000 aura in that moment.
Oh, thank you very much.
You were
I
ready-
appreciate that.
And
You had a
people-
little scanner?
I felt it. I felt it. I was like, and then I heard that you were doubting yourself. Again,
yeah.
you faked it very well.
Thank you very
If you
much.
had any doubt whatsoever, and I saw another clip, and again, I'd love for you to explain this to me. Did you predict what the Japanese b-boy was going to do that in that moment? Like, you knew what he was going to do by studying him?
Well, no, I didn't study him, but a lot of us have competed together and against each other many times. Like, I've battled Shiga kicks, especially in this Olympic platform and on this journey, probably like 3 or 4 times, a lot of them in the semifinals, actually. And so I'm just familiar with his moves. I knew he was going to hit that, and so I think the timing was just really lucky. I'm very fortunate, just like the way I break is very different, and it's a little bit more spontaneous, so I think it's a lot harder for people to predict my movements. Shiga kicks is an incredible breaking, an incredible athlete, but he's a bit more predictable, and so I've seen his stuff a lot of times, and so I just was kind of clowning him.
Incredible. Any chance of salvaging him for 28? Any chance of bringing this back?
I hope so. I mean, it's not in my cards, it's not in my power, but I hope so. But more than anything, I think, again, we put on a good show. I think there'll be people who fall in love with it, and hopefully it grows the sport no matter what.
Congrats, man.
Thank
Enjoy
you very
enjoy all the sweets that
Yes,
come
I
with
will.
being a gold medalist. I
Thank
know
you
you're a
very
big
much.
fan. Thank you. Well, it's wonderful speaking to the athletes each and every day here in Paris, but I've been looking forward to this chat all throughout these games. I'm a huge fan of this man. I admire him from afar. I haven't had a chance to really work with him, but this is a massive, massive thrill for me. He is the one and only, the inimitable, the often imitated, never duplicated Scott Russell, the host of these Olympic Games, covering his 17th Olympics.
Why don't you just keep the accolades
Okay, I will.
coming? I mean,
There's so many
I've never
awards.
had an introduction like
So
that.
many awards, I can hardly list them all, but yes, he is the host of these games for CBC, and will be calling it a career at CBC on September 8th, I do believe. You'll be signing off from here at the closing ceremony on Sunday evening, then covering the Paralympic Games from back home in Toronto. It's so great to see you. Thank you so much for the time.
Great to be with you, Ariel, and thanks for coming up to our wonderful spot here on the roof of the Olympic Games. The TV tower right over there, the Eiffel Tower, it's absolutely fantastic. A bird's eye view, love it up here.
You've been doing such a great job of telling the stories of these athletes here in Paris, and how many stories we've had to talk about, right? Magical night after magical night. How have you been able to separate just covering the game, 17th, but also the emotion of it being your last time in this role?
Well, you know what? I'm immersed in the games, Ariel, as I always get immersed in the games. And sometimes you have to put your emotions aside so that you can tell the stories of the athletes that you were talking about. And really, the games aren't about me, right? They're about the athletes. And that's why I love telling the stories about people like Cameron Rogers or Ethan Katzberger, Summer McIntosh, or Eleanor Harvey, who wins a medal for Canada in fencing for the first time. That's what the games are about. It's about the athletes, these extraordinary people that are able to do such wonderful things, and that's what I love about the Olympics.
And your passion and your love for the Olympics really comes through. Like now, when you're on TV, and I read that you recently said, if I could be remembered for something, it's just how much I believe in the Olympics, how much I love the Olympics. Why do they mean so much to you?
Well, I guess it's because I believe in the ideal. And the ideal of the Olympics is about excellence, respect, and friendship. And to me, if that's the ideal of the games, that's unassailable. That's what the aim of the games is to do, is to be excellent, be full of respect, and to make friends. I mean, I think that's a noble goal. The Olympics, Ariel, as you know, are not perfect. but they try to be.
Yes.
And that's what's great about them.
It's interesting. I believe your first games were 1988 Seoul, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Perhaps one of the darkest Olympics for Canada.
You know what? It was really interesting because in '88 in Seoul, I was covering tennis, and that's when tennis came back onto the Olympic program. And I remember being there and calling the match as Steffi Graf won the Golden Grand Slam. She'd won everything else. But we stayed in the media village, and I was a runner back then, and I had a Canadian backpack, and I ran back to the media village, you know, through the Olympic Park. And people were cheering for me the day after Ben Johnson won.
Wow.
Because they knew I was Canadian, and they're going, yes, Canada wins the 100 meters. And it was great. And then I was woken up in the middle of the night in my dormitory, phone call from someone in Reuters in London who said, tell me about Ben Johnson. And I said, well, it's fantastic. The whole country is celebrating, and the guys won the gold medal. No, yeah, I want to stop you right there. You don't understand. He's tested positive. And they knew in the West before we knew on the ground in Korea. We were all asleep, and it was a roller coaster, Ariel. It was devastating for us.
And perhaps there's some beautiful symbolism to the fact that in one of your last days as host, the Canadian men, I know it's not a singular 100 meters, but what they did on Friday, I mean, how great was that? That has to be one of the most thrilling things you've seen.
Absolutely fantastic. And, you know, see those four guys come together. And we spent some time with Aaron Brown, and he's a professional. He has to feed his family by what he does. He's the leadoff man, and he takes his job very seriously. And I don't know, you watched the race as I did. Aaron Brown blasted off that start line, and he got the Canadians into a great lead before he passed it off to Jerome Blake. And then Brendan Rodney did his job, and Andre DeGrasse brought it home. But Aaron Brown was the guy that fired the team, and it was fantastic.
It was. This is fantastic as well. What a treat. This is where you've been hosting each and every single night, right?
This is the TV tower, and when I left Toronto, they told me that this space was going to be about half the size that it actually is. But yeah, we do everything from there. We've got a remote camera, and we've got the best backdrop in the world, the Eiffel Tower, which was built for the World's Fair. They were going to tear it down. They were going to tear the Eiffel Tower down because they didn't want this monstrosity anymore. Then the Parisians fell in love with it, and it's been there ever since. This is the Olympic Games. And you know, it's here that the modern games were first envisioned, 1894 at the Sorbonne, de Coubertin, you know, and they revived the Olympic spirit. It's great.
I have to say, from afar, you still have your fastball. You're still throwing 97, 98 out there.
You know,
any chance of all of this making you fall in love with it? You know what, I'll stick around. Perhaps I'll be there in LA.
You know what, I will probably not be around in the same role that I'm in. I hope to be still involved. I'm on the board at the International Center for Olympic Studies at Western University in London. I don't know if I'll be back here in the same role. I still love the Olympics. That'll never go away, Ariel. It's just too good.
Yeah, that is very clear. Okay, we have to let you go. For those at home, like, what do you do in the final moments before you go live? Like, what's Scott Russell do to get into that, you know, Josh Allen game face mode?
I get on my computer, my laptop. It's called iNews.
Okay.
I look what I'm going to say at the top of the show. Jen Haynes, who's been writing all that good stuff for me, and it all comes out of my mouth. And I hope not, Ariel. I hope not to screw it up.
You have yet to do so.
Yeah, because we're at the Olympic Games. It's great.
Amazing. What an honor. Thank you so much. Congratulations on an incredible run, and enjoy the final moments of these games. And good luck with the Paralympic Games as well.
Thank you very much, Ariel. Great to meet you.
Go Bills. And so the time has come to look at the medal table one final time. In the end, it's 27 medals for Canada, 9 gold, both records for non-boycotted Olympic Games. What a showing from these 315 athletes who represented the Great White North here in beautiful Paris. And if you're wondering, by the way, just how far we have come as a Summer Olympic nation, consider this. 48 years ago, 1976 Games, Montreal, it was 0 golds and 11 medals total for Canada. 24 years later, 2000 Sydney Games, it was just 3 golds, 14 total. We have come so far, and now we are not just a winter Olympic nation, we're just an Olympic nation. And it's amazing to see these athletes rise to the occasion each and every time out. I'll never forget these 2+ weeks here in Paris. On a personal note, it has been the honor of my career hosting this show for CBC. It's something, honestly, that I never dreamed of, didn't think was possible, but I'm so very happy came to fruition. I'll never forget these weeks. I'll never forget these days. I'll never forget these athletes, these interviews, this experience. Something that I'll think about for many more years to come. And honestly, I hope that you've enjoyed this program 1/5 as much as we enjoyed putting it together. It's been very special. And with that in mind, we put together a bit of a montage, if you will, a trip down memory lane of the last 2+ weeks. Some highs, some lows, some very emotional moments. This is just a taste of what Paris Tonight was all about. And on the other end of it, I'll say goodbye one last time. For now, though, enjoy this. Welcome to the very first edition of Paris Tonight. Get ready with me. That's what the kids say. Ariel, do you want to be a part of the opening ceremony? I said, me? I thought I was just a lowly digital guy.
Ariana Grande, are you familiar with her work?
We love you in Canada. Come talk to us.
That was the lowest moment of my career.
Donovan said what he said after that race.
He didn't pull up, he's a chicken.
We love Canada.
We.
The daddy gang.
Devin, Heroux, the titan of Twitter.
Britt, don't call me Brittany McLean.
Ariel, we're a hammer throwing nation.
Yes. And who do I see from afar? Michael Johnson, that chicken.
I do like your choreography. I hate everything French right now. I told my wife, no more French kissing, nothing.
Do you guys love that?
I did. Well, it was very entertaining. Are you the best swimmer in the world?
No, I would never.
A lot of people say that.
I would never say that about myself. Hold
By
the
the way.
medal.
No, you
Hold
just,
the medal.
No,
Get
I
it.
can't.
Let's steal it, Tobago man. Welcome to the Club of Champions.
I'm lucky enough to be joined right now. What a guy.
I love violence, so it's part of who I am. Yeah.
I like the way you put Saint Stuff on the map, Ariel.
Ariel Helwani is covering the Olympics for our nation's broadcaster.
It gives me great joy to see you living out your dream.
Let him cook with a step back. Bang! He's him.
RJ Barrett! RJ Barrett!
Couple days rain, E. coli galore. They call me Helwani. I love heels. I'm canning it. Oh my God.
Cannon.
Oh, did you get that, Paul? Little known fact, I don't know how to ride a bike.
I have copied his style.
Oh.
It's true.
Canadian double-double. I predicted this all along.
Oh, sorry.
It's an easy way to humble someone, and that's by spanking them.
Well, good luck to you guys. I don't really mean that. I hope you lose. Yeah. No one threw anything at me, which was also fantastic.
She is her, and her is she.
Something like that. We've never had so many people watch us before. What about
This is arguably one of the greatest sporting moments in Canadian history. Like, she's reaching a point in the sport that when I was swimming was never even imaginable.
Never quit, push your limit, believe in yourself.
The magic of the Olympics is an athlete's ability to meet the moment under the greatest pressure.
I still love the decathlon. I still feel like I have so much to improve on in the sport.
That's it for us. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Bonne nuit from Paris. And so we have reached that point, the finish line, so to speak. Again, it has been a privilege and a pleasure hosting these shows for all of you over the last 2+ weeks, something that I will never forget, something that I will cherish forever. And you know, at the end of every episode, as you may recall, I've been doing this thing called Paris Tonight Podium, where I'm handing out medals, bronze, silver, gold, my favorite moments of the day. Well, tonight, it's just gold. That's it. It's gold and thank yous, really. It's a big gold medal and a thank you to our entire production team. Individuals who have been working tirelessly on this series for about 2 years. Sarah, John, Paul, Vanessa, Ryan, Aaron, Cameron, Nathaniel, and Brad. Thank you so very much. I owe you a debt of gratitude. A big gold medal and a thank you to all of you at home. Everyone who liked, who subscribed, who commented, who shared, who posted, who reposted, thank you. You have no idea what your support means. We are so appreciative. Your motivation, your happiness, your excitement for these games gave us that extra oomph. And it really was felt here. So thank you again. And finally, a big gold medal and a thank you to all 315 Canadian athletes who represented us on this international stage, who represented the best of us here in Paris. I'm in awe of every single man and woman who represented Canada here, who carried that flag, who fought, who competed, blood, sweat, and tears, the whole thing. They were the best of us, and it was an absolute honor to be in their presence. What a time it has been here in Paris. It's time to say goodbye, and if my calculations are correct, we're about 544 days away from Milano Cortina. Winter Olympics 2026. We're almost there, less than 2 years away. We'll be dreaming about these Paris nights up until then. We'll be reminiscing, we'll be recounting, but for now, it is really time to say goodbye. And as I've said each and every episode at the very end, I know it's not nighttime just yet, but you know, I'm a man of tradition. One last time, thank you so very much for watching. Bonne nuit from Paris.
Paris Tonight is brought to you by Smartwater.